Feeling like your college admissions chances are totally out of your control? Or like you're a shoo-in at top schools because of your strong grades and impressive activities list? Regardless of which category you fall into, you may not actually be correct. Luckily, we have some tips to help you take control of your college application. Keep watching to find out what you can do to stand out and get in. I'm Cassandra, a writing coach at Prompt, the highest rated and most recommended college application and essay coaching company. We've reviewed hundreds of thousands of college essays, and 98% of our students get into one or more of their top colleges. We're here to help make your essays stand out and your application impossible to ignore. Colleges take a holistic approach to admissions, meaning they look at several different factors when considering an applicant. Most students think that academics are the most important, and in a sense, they're right. At most schools, students must meet an academic bar or threshold to be considered for admissions. If you don't meet that bar, it's unlikely that an admissions reader will look at your other metrics. But at most schools, the majority of students meet or exceed that academic bar. As such, your academic score typically won't do all that much to differentiate you beyond that initial consideration because thousands of students are put into the same academic categories. Because of that, increasing your personal score tends to be a lot more effective than increasing your academic score, as we explain in this video. So before we dive into the ways you can take control of your college application, let's dive into the 3 different categories of information that factor into an admissions decision. As mentioned, we have your academic score, which includes grades, test scores, strength of your curriculum, and strength of your high school. Then there are the elements of that all-important personal score, so your essays, your activities and how you write about them, your letters of recommendation, and interviews if you have them. Finally, we've defined an other category of additional factors that matter to an admissions reader. These include demonstrated interest in the school, family income, whether or not you're a first-generation college student, if you're a legacy student or a student athlete, and your geographic location. Now let's think about which of these factors you can control. Many students think they have total control of their academics, but many of your grades are already set in stone. Yes, you can add new ones that can raise your overall GPA, but much of this section is largely locked in. Similarly, students think that working for a slightly higher standardized test score will get them in, but once you've surpassed a school's academic bar, we've seen that these types of increases are actually not super effective. Also, because schools consider the track record of other students from your high school who were previously accepted, and the strength of your school's curriculum, some of your academic considerations aren't even based on your own work. You also can't control most of those miscellaneous factors we mentioned. Your family history, income, and geographic location can't really be changed, nor can your status as a student athlete or legacy student. Luckily, you have quite a bit of control over the components used to determine your personal score. You may think it's too late to do much about your activities list, but you actually have quite a bit of control here. And we help our students write about their activities in a way that makes their application shine. By highlighting your contributions and the quantifiable impacts you've made in each of your activities, you can set yourself apart even if you don't have a million activities or leadership roles. Check out the article about the activities list that we've linked in the description below to read more. Then of course you have your college essays. Like the activities list, you don't have to have the most dramatic experience or a majorly unique accomplishment like curing cancer or breaking a world record to stand out. Every student can write a compelling college essay by showing how their experiences demonstrate the traits that lead to college success, which we've broken down in this video. You also have control over the structure that you use in your college essays. Now don't get this confused. We don't recommend trying to make up for subpar content by opting for a complicated metaphor or an unconventional style. Instead, we recommend structuring each essay in a clear, organized way that makes it as easy as possible for the reader to understand your main idea. Check out the article linked below where we recommend a few structures that lead to compelling personal statements. You can also head to our Writing Center, writingcenter.prompt.com, for tips on how to structure all of your essays you'll have to write across your applications. Next, you also have some control over your letters of recommendation, although it may not seem that way. You can control who you ask to write your letters, and you can also do a few things to help them out. For one, share our letter writing resources linked in the description below. You can also help them to understand the personal brand that you're trying to reinforce with all of your application materials. For example, you might share with them that you feel your strongest trait is intellectual curiosity, which you're going to demonstrate in your personal statement and your supplemental essays. Maybe you'd love for an admissions reader to know about the research project you went above and beyond to prepare for and execute, or the conversations you regularly have with this teacher about a mutual interest. Having your recommender mention these topics will help you to wow your reader, and the recommender will likely appreciate the suggestion. The last component we encourage you to consider in this category is your interviews, if you have them. These might also seem out of your control given that you can't anticipate who your interviewer will be or what they'll ask. But by determining your personal brand, the traits that best define you and prove your potential to succeed in college, you can make a short list of experiences that you definitely want to mention. You can also prepare questions that will wow your reader and do your research to demonstrate your interest in the school. That brings us to the last factor in the college admissions process over which you have pretty much total control: demonstrated interest. By convincing the reader that if accepted, you're likely to attend, you can boost your chances of admission. There are a number of easy things you can do to communicate this information, starting with something as simple as visiting the school's website. We've linked an article below that explains all of the ways you can demonstrate your interest. And that's how you can take control of your college applications. We post a new video every week to make completing your applications and essays simple and low stress. For more tips on how to prove no one is like you, follow us here and on social media at Prompt Feedback. Together, we'll make your story shine.